So, Mchana, maybe just to give you a background, ne? Um, second year was quite a tough year for me. Um, as I got all the textbooks I could get or could afford. I think I had about 11 or 12 textbooks. Um, the anatomy book I had I had the letters at first, and then when we started doing dissections, I thought, oh no, letters is not helpful because uh, it's there with its colors of yellow and blue and red, but the cadavers, there's no colors there in the cadavers. So I sold my letters and then decided to get a McMillan's. Um, but either way, I still struggled with anatomy. I struggled with all the subjects. I think physiology was was the one that was a bit better because the tutorials we had were actually based on past paper questions. Um, but either way, juggling all those subjects and even HSD itself, I was reading from the textbooks, I was cross-nighting, I was struggling in the exams. And then at the end of the year, I ended up having to write all the final exams, of which I failed two, which was MOMED and anatomy. And then I wrote two subs. After those two subs, I failed a net. But the funny thing is that when I failed a net into sub, I had 48% for the year, and then wrote the sub, and then after the sub, I still had 48. And then I wrote the sub viva, and guess what? After the sub viva, they still gave me 48%. So that was quite a dodgy thing, but in the end, I had failed the year, and that was something I had to face. So obviously, it was just mixed feelings of, I've failed and whatnot, uh, but one of the things that just gave me a bit of comfort was knowing that I pushed, I pushed very hard, especially towards the end of the year. I sacrificed a lot. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't looking after myself. I was giving that course, you know, all the attention it deserved. I wrote all the summaries. I went through videos. I went through textbooks. Eventually I sold that Mignons again and got a Netters again. But it was probably just too little, too late. But I was starting to figure out how anatomy works and how I should have approached it from the beginning. Um, but I think also I was just exhausted. I was tired of pushing and pushing and not getting enough marks. So I sort of accepted it, came back the following year. And obviously it starts out a bit slow, but I decided that okay, I'm just repeating anatomy, and I took my notes from the previous year and said okay, I won't make the same mistakes. I'm going to look at how they want or how they are examining us, um, and how they're examining us will determine how I study. Um, there are certain things that they want us to know very well, and other things not so much. And anatomy having so much content, if you approach it in certain ways, you can actually cover more in less time. Okay, so as I started just using my netters more often than anything else. I didn't really use CleanerNet. I didn't use the lecture slides at all. Um, I used blank papers a lot. I drew a lot, and I just started, learning and loving the subject. But at the same time, what motivated me was the fact that our lecturers, throughout the years, actually, most lecturers will teach you in such a way that You feel like you're doing postgrad. They don't generally they don't teach basics very well. They don't know how to introduce medicine. They assume that you've read a lot of things at home, and then you are just coming to discuss serious issues. So what motivated me is to, looking at my peers and just thinking to myself how much I struggled, and I don't want them to struggle. So I decided that I'm going to start tutoring. At the time, I was doing second year, and I started tutoring my classmates, the ones who were doing second year for the first time. And I was just trying to show them that, look, this is how they're gonna teach you in the lecture, and it's gonna confuse you a lot, but essentially this is what they're trying to say, and in a few words, this is how you can actually cover that content, and this is how you can approach it in a way that you make it practical for yourself, and in a way that you're not gonna forget. And some people were interested, some were not, some came for a few tutorials, but that happens, but I was really motivated in showing, students that you don't have to struggle with a net if you know from the get-go what they expect from you. So that's I spent that year when I was repeating. I spent a lot of time um, redefining anatomy for myself in a way that was visual and practical, and also trying to show other students that they don't have to struggle, you and also during that year I realized that I've spent many years pushing hard, and that year I decided, mentally and emotionally, I just need to take a break, take things easy, allow myself not to be perfect, because we have this mentality of, no, you have to get 80s and 90s, you have to compete with all the other students. But that year I started accepting that, look, I'm not going to get 100% for anything. Exams are not, especially in med school, exams are not made in a way that you can get 100%. So I allowed myself to just love the subject, do everything that's necessary in terms of doing past papers, discussing things, just going through the content, just so that I'm familiar enough uh, to go into that exam, and know what to say, know what to do, without pushing myself too hard. And I was just more at peace, and then in the free time that I had, I used it to do other things like dancing, that I love doing. So, I utilized my free time. So, um, yeah, so that's how I got through the year. I forgave myself very quickly for failing the year, and I realized that sometimes um, sometimes your journey is supposed to be the way it is so that you can get to a certain outcome. It's not that because you're in a 6-year program you have to finish it in 6 years. There are certain things along the way that you're supposed to go through in order to make you stronger, or in order to lead you in a certain path. So for me, since the year I repeated, I've been a tutor, I've been a teacher, I've been a mentor, and that has been my passion and my calling ever since. And everywhere I go, I just need to teach. I need to teach students. And that has never stopped, even with me being here in Limpopo, in Polokwane and Mangoing. The Cuban students that have started rotating here, I've been teaching them since they arrived, and I do it, twice or 3 times a week, and I really enjoy it. And I think if it wasn't for the year I repeated, I wouldn't have thought of teaching people and and helping them through before they struggle, you know. So that has become a big part of my life now, and I respect academics a lot more, and I enjoy academics a lot more. um, so yeah, so if you have failed or you're repeating something, just sit back and see what you can gain from it more than what you've lost.